Hi guys, and welcome to Trucking Along with Kiersey. That's me, your positive voice in trucking. Today is Special Request Saturday, and I got a special request from Eric in the inbound Springfield Prime Terminal. So, hi Eric! I got a special request from him to sort of name all the guys that I named in another video because apparently I didn't put it close enough in the beginning of the video. So this video is actually going to be about mechanics and technicians and why it's important to actually treat them like people. Who knew? Who knew that you might want to actually be nice to the guy who's checking out your rig and making sure you're safe? I couldn't believe when I heard from a few of the different guys in the shops that some of the drivers are like, kind of not nasty but abrupt and come on, which is the trucker whole thing. If you're not rolling, you know, wheels aren't turning, you're not earning, but you have to make sure you're doing it safely. I wouldn't want to tick off somebody who's in charge of my food. I don't want to be poisoned, so I sure as heck wouldn't want to like treat somebody like dirt who is checking out my rig and making sure I'm safe. So we're going to talk about like mechanics and the values and trying to build relationships with people when we come back. So I do want to shout out Eric and Riley and Dom and Jazz and Rusty in the Spremo department, Jorge in Salt Lake City. He's a mechanic and he like rebuilt one of my APUs and never had a problem with it again. Woohoo! All right, Jorge. I was kind of disheartened to hear that truckers could be kind of abrupt with these guys, you know, and it doesn't matter what company you're with. It doesn't matter if you're not with Prime. You know, we as drivers don't want to be looked at as numbers. We just don't want to be faceless, nameless people. So why would you treat other people that way? You know, we are drivers, we're not mechanics, we're not technicians. We need them, and yet we can sometimes be a little disrespectful. Troy's another really good guy in the Springfield shop that I seem to run into a lot. And of course I can't name them all, and you can't know them all because they're all working 24/7 and you go in at different times, and people come and go. I mean, but over the years, these are the guys who have always made sure that when I came in, my trailers were inspected. Even the trucks, if they have time, they'll inspect the trucks and make sure everything's okay. One of them, I think it was Brad, he pointed out that like my torque arm was like 3 millimeters misaligned. He's like, oh, did you notice that? No. And he brought out the little gap thing and he, you know, so you have to understand they're there to help you, but that doesn't mean that they're your like personal employees or anything. And it's kind of funny because a couple of them told me, well, when I see your truck outside, and two people are coming up at the same time, I'll go to your truck first. You know, but it's more of a respect thing. And if you utilize these people not just to fix your truck, but ask them questions about things about new drivers. You know, sometimes when you're going outbound, for example, you know, our technicians wind up having to pull up your truck and look for certain things. And sometimes they get hit quick questions from new drivers that they'll tell me what those new drivers were asking, and I'll be able to then convey that kind of information and to other drivers that are new. Maybe I forgot what I didn't remember, what I didn't know at the time. You know, an example is, and all companies do this, it doesn't matter if you're Prime or not, they latch or attach your truck to a certain trailer in the computer system. Now, at Prime, and I'm assuming this is true for other companies, let me know in comments down below. But at Prime, if we are not attached or latched to the trailer in the computer system, we can't fuel, we can't get repairs done, we can't get washes or washouts. So you need to make sure that that's the case in the computer system. Also, when you're latched to a trailer, it's taking that trailer out of circulation for other people to be able to be assigned to it. So you really want to make sure that in the system you are latched, and you may not know it until you go to do a service like fuel or washout. But when you come out of our terminal, that's something that the guys check to make sure that you're accurate in the computer. One of the technicians said to the new driver, "Hey, you're not latched to the trailer." And the new driver got out and looked underneath his kingpin, and he says, "Yeah, my locking jaws are attached." That's not to which the man was referring, the mechanic was referring. Staying in communication with the mechanics and the technicians can be not just beneficial for you as far as your own rig and being able to spot things and know what's going wrong. Like, I can go in there and say, "Hey, were there any recalls on this truck?" And they can tell me. So, or they'll say, "Hey, there's a lot of problems with the international transmissions that we've been getting. Why don't you go have it checked out?" Or something of that nature. Those are really beneficial resources. But then also to utilize them in order to train other people, utilize the information they give you. Why would you be condescending or nasty to these awesome guys? They're kind of cute. Any of you single ladies out there, be sure to go just say hi and smile. I don't know if any of them are single, but they're really nice and really sweet, and they smile and they laugh, and I'm probably going to get some girlfriends or wives texting me or messaging me saying, "Don't hook my husband up with anybody." But until that happens, go by and say, "Hi Eric, hi Dom, hi Riley, hi Troy, hi Rusty, hi Jazz." Tell them Kiersey sent you. It doesn't make you look good as a person either. When you're condescending to somebody or you're huffy puffy, you're basically telling them, "I got things to do. You're not doing your job. You're not going too fast." Do you really want them to speed up on your rig? Do you really want them to go faster and miss something? Do you really want them to not realize that your reefer needs work? So instead of getting it repaired at the shop where you can be in and out and then go on with your load, you get, a couple 100 miles away and now it's overheating and you have to get to a reefer dealership that could have you sitting there for days rather than just a couple hours in our shop. Makes no sense, guys. Just be smart and, treat people well. I've said this in other videos. Those mechanics are outside in the winter in the cold. They're outside in those garages in the 100-degree heat. They're climbing underneath these hot trucks and the trailers and changing tires and checking brakes. And how many of you, seriously, you're watching this, how many of you have said thank you? How many of you had thought, "Hey, you know what, it's 100 degrees outside. How about I give him a 50-cent water bottle I have in my refrigerator?" Just to say thank you. Just to say, "Hey, I appreciate you." We all want other people to appreciate us, but then we don't appreciate them. So that's my food for thought for today. So I want to say Eric over and over and over in this video. In the mechanics. And it's really funny too. One of them told me, well, there were two of them that told me that I was the first YouTuber that spoke highly of them. Like, you're kidding me. And they're like, no. They're like, most of them, most of the YouTubers, they bash us. They bash us for saying we go too slow or we're holding them too long, or we wanted to do work on the truck that they didn't want us to do because they didn't want the time. They didn't want the downtime. And that's kind of sad. You're sitting there bashing somebody for doing their job, and their whole job is to make you safe. when you are out there on the road, I challenge you. I don't care what company you go to. I don't care, whether it's a TA or a Petro or a shop somewhere. I challenge you to stop and think about that mechanic. Stop and think what kind of job he has. And, sometimes it's really hard for mechanics to make diagnostics, even with all these computers and this technology. It's hard for them to figure out what's going on with your truck. You drive that truck every day, and you don't always know what's going on with it. You might know there's something wrong with it, but you might not know. And then you expect this guy who's working on it for 15 or 20 minutes to know everything about your truck and know exactly what the issue is. So I ask all of you to give these guys a break. And, comment down below and tell me, do you have a favorite mechanic? I don't care what company you're at. I want the name of your favorite mechanic at your company, or perhaps you're over the road. Like, I know there's a guy, Paul, up in the TA in Gary, Indiana. Paul in the TA in Gary, Indiana. Now, you might think this is crazy, but he helped me when I first was really new. It was a good 4 years ago, and every time I go in there, he doesn't remember me. I know that, but I know him. And I'll say, "Hey, Paul, how you doing?" And he just waves, and the first time that he realized that I recognized him, he was like, "You talking to me?" "Yeah, what other Paul is around here?" And I was like, "Yeah, you worked on my truck a long time ago. You're really nice." And, so now I go in and I'll just say, "Hey, Paul." Now, does he remember me? No. But it still makes him feel like a person. It still, gives him a little bit of appreciation. Comment down below. Tell me the name of your favorite mechanic. Like, comment, subscribe, and ring the little notification bell. Please share. And I hope to see you out here trucking along. And Eric, I hope you watched this entire video and I don't get blamed for not saying your name enough. Bye, guys.